How's it going, everyone? My name is Luxeley, and I have some depictions of what Legion PvP is going to be, as well as predictions that I made back in WOD, that I put together some clips, so you guys can check those out in a couple of minutes. And before you do, I just want to say this. I've been to the puppet show. I paid my admission. I've seen the strings. I know how things work. And maybe I have a bit of a child's optimism, thinking that if I could point out some inequities or imbalance in WoW PvP, maybe somehow, some way, the right ears will hear it, and maybe they'll do something about it. And now I just realized that's 100% wishful thinking. I don't have that kind of influence. I don't have that kind of reach. No more of that. I also understand, after 3.5 years of doing PvP videos and WoW videos on YouTube, that people don't want to hear anybody complain. And that is a perfectly legitimate point for anyone. Because I understand people might be in high school or they're in college, a couple years in the working world, maybe 10 years in the working world. Maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, maybe you're a stay-at-home dad, kids screaming all day. The last thing you want to do is tune into a video during your leisure time and hear someone bitch and complain about something, even if it is their channel, even if it is their forum and their thread. You don't want to hear it. And I get that, and I respect that and understand it. But you know what? I have a job too. And when people point out that I never said I wanted fair and balanced PvP, that I never said it in Warlords of Draenor the fun, you are sorely mistaken. You can sit here and you could call me a bad player if you want. You could tell me I suck. It's up for debate. You could sit here and you could question my sense of humor and tell me I'm politically incorrect, because I damn well know that I am. But if you're going to question my integrity, don't you dare do it. Do not dare do it. Integrity is the most important thing to me. And some people in the comments said, hey, Luxley never wanted fair and balanced PvP. He's just bitching because he can't win a BG as ally. No, that's not what I meant. And that's certainly not what I said. Guys, I want to make PvP videos. I want to bring to you good gameplay and my humorous limericks, whether you find them funny or not. That's what I want to do. That's what I love to do. New PvP videos. And the reality is, I can't win because of this fucking imbalance. And I am behind the 8 ball as Horde, and that's all I'm saying about this. That's all I'm saying. You shouldn't have to switch factions in order to be competitive in a part of the game that you want to play. And guys, like I said, you want to question my gameplay, you want to question my jokes, you want to question my insight or criticism into the game, it's all up for debate. Go for it. But do not dare question my integrity or tell me I did not say that I wanted fair and balanced PvP back in WOD. And here's the proof. Oh, gee, 2 warriors. I love this. Horde's better. Yeah. Oh, that's something I wouldn't bet on, bro. Horde's better. Well, that's going to change. That is going to change. I think in Legion, there's going to be a supreme rebalancing of the factions, and I think that means that a lot more people are going to be playing Horde for PvP, and Alliance is going to be in the suck position. I kind of feel that. It's just a gut instinct. Leave your thoughts in the comments on that. Do you think the Horde are going to make a comeback in Legion? I kind of believe they will. I really do. Because I'm able to do something like this as a hunter or any class and go 5-1. 5-1. And the interesting thing about running around naked with 140 or 50k health, whatever it is, nobody said anything. Nobody said, hey, idiot, put some clothes on. Or put some gear on. Nobody said, WTF are you doing, dude? Nobody. And this isn't the only BG that I did. I did I would say about 5 or 6 BGs without any gear. And only in one BG did I realize I was truly hurting the team and I put my gear on. But the other 5 times, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Now, this is the one I happened to do best in. I went 5-1. But most of the time I was going 2-3, 3-2, stuff like that. It really wasn't, I was just not even in the mix. But out of those 6 BGs that I did, with no gear, just gear that starts with B. Bow, boots, bracers, back, and some other stupid other piece of gear. The fact is, nobody said anything. Nobody like, hey dude, put your gear on. I don't know if they're just unaware. I don't know if they're all bots. I don't know what the deal is, but I shouldn't be able to do this. Well, we're clearly winning 1,300 to almost 500. It's almost over, but it's been a hell of a lot of fun. It's just a warrior sitting there on his motorcycle, just AFK, just like, screw this, I don't want to play anymore. And it's sad. It really is. I mean, I really hope Blizzard fixes this problem. I think they took a major step that is part of the remedy to the problem by buffing the trinkets like they did. That's a good move overall for the game. But still, the queue times are high in Alliance, and it's just pretty much an automatic win. It really is. I mean, I'd say the win ratio is an easy 80 to 85% for the Alliance. I was thinking, like, why would we even care about having Gilneas? The whole place is polluted. It's been bombarded by the plague, by all kinds of chemical warfare from the undead. Why would we want it? I still love Gilneas. It is my favorite city. Wergen are my favorite characters. Leave it in the comments. What is your favorite city, and what is your favorite race in the game, and why? Why I like Wergen, I don't know. They just introduced some kind of viciousness that the pretty cute little Alliance lacked. So I really, really like that, even though their racials are pretty terrible compared to anyone else. Although, I am seriously considering creating a Wergen priest just simply because of the Wergen racial. The extra crit would help with those Mind Blast stones, provided they're still there in Legion, if and when Legion comes out, which we really can't expect that to happen for at least 8 to 10 months at this point. More like 10 months. It's aggravating to pop into a BG and know that you're playing with a side, an average of, say, 4 or 5 bots on your team. Because right off the bat, it makes it that much more difficult to win. You find yourself fighting with somebody who's sleeping, essentially, and they're running the game with a bot, and it's very, very aggravating. By the same token, it's aggravating when you just face roll over people and you're AoEing the graveyard. Anytime you're AoEing the graveyard in a BG, something is going very right for your team, and it's annoying facing bots on the opposing side. I don't like that. I'm a very strong advocate for a fair style of play across the board. Yeah, it's fun to face roll people once in a while, but when you do it too often, it gets boring. And when it happens a lot to you, it gets frustrating. It was a close BG. Some of them are close. What I've noticed what's going on is when you queue for your first BG, the queue kind of hits relatively quick, and then, I mean, you're talking probably a minute or two. It's usually quick. And then the next one ends up being a bit longer. Let me know if you're having that same experience on the Alliance side, of course. On the Horde side, the queues are instant, but you also get an instant loss, so it's not much fun. I hope that improves. I'm always 100% for fair and balanced. I truly am, and I hope that gets fixed. The imbalance gets fixed. I was talking about graveyard camps? I don't remember. I know I was talking about the time on my Human Hunter when I almost got Wrecking Ball for the first time. I think it was level. It was also right before the DKs enter BGs, because that's like when the freshman class has the cafeteria all to themselves and all the other upperclassmen are gone that day. That's a great day, And then all of a sudden the next day, the seniors and the juniors and the sophomores are back, and you're the little guy in the totem pole and they're stealing your lunch money. So that's basically like what it's like in the early 50s before Death Knights enter BGs, with their welfare gear and their pumped up false delusions of grandeur, in the sense that, like, oh, I'm so great, I'm really good at this game, I'm really good. No, you're not. You're playing a Death Knight. Sorry to say. And soon, Death Knights are not going to be the brunt of my jokes anymore, because I have a feeling that Demon Hunters are going to be incredibly OP. Do I have any basis, any logic, any facts that can prove that? Absolutely not. I don't. Do I need any? For some people, yeah, I probably do. But I'm very confident I'll be right that they're going to be overpowered in PvP. I'm not talking about PvE. And a lot of times when I start talking about these crazy things, people are like, oh, Lux, what's wrong with you? You're crazy, you're an idiot, you're a noob. I've been playing the game for 7 years. But the fact is they're thinking in the sense of PvE and raiding, and I'm thinking in the sense of PvP. two different worlds completely. You know, what is OP in PvP certainly is not OP in raiding, and vice versa. It's very, very different. Very different. I mean, I don't think you can camp a graveyard in raids. I'm not 100% sure. Leave it in the comments if anybody knows. I might have a fever. That's why I'm not, like, thinking straight. But you do get to see me run around naked in gear that only starts with the letter B. So I call this the B challenge, which means bow, boots, bracers, back, and belt. That's it. I'm not wearing anything else. So why am I doing this? Am I trying to prove to people, hey guys, look, I'm pretty goddamn sexy? No. Am I trying to show people that I can contribute to a win and not wear any gear because I'm just that good? Absolutely not. Am I doing this to prove some kind of a point? Yeah, I am. And the point is that regular BGs aren't competitive whatsoever. I did 5 BGs in a row where I couldn't even get near the top in damage, which I usually am, because they just face roll people. If I wasn't in the right place where there was like one horde person that I could do damage on, I didn't do any damage. They just destroyed the horde. The Alliance destroyed the horde. And that's a problem, because when the most basic element of any game is absolutely not competitive and not fun, Houston, we have a problem, because you're not bringing new players into PvP, and that's the problem. Who in their right mind is going to play Horde and say, hey, I want a PvP, and then go into a BG and consistently get your teeth kicked in and then have them spoon-fed to you? Who's going to do that? Nobody. Because if you're a new player, or you're a guy who's consistently raided and suddenly wants to try PvP, guess what? If you're on the Horde, it sucks. You can't even gear up. You're lucky if you get 50 honor points. And if you're in a Warsong Gulch or a Twin Peaks, you're not getting a lockbox because you're not camping a flag. And I'm talking, the win ratio is 80-90% for the Alliance. Now sure, occasionally you run into a Horde pre-made and they just kick ass. But guess what? I tried to get into those Horde pre-mades and I couldn't. I couldn't even get in as a healer because I was not a multi-clad. So how is the new player who plays Horde, or the guy who suddenly raided for years, finds it boring, wants to try something different in PvP, plays Horde, who in their right mind is going to do that? Who in their right mind is going to be a mercenary to get their face kicked in and their teeth spoon-fed to them? Here's your teeth. You want fries with that? I guess you can't have fries because you can't chew them, can you? A lot of the ranked, talented, and dedicated PvPers, they generally play Horde, and they realized or started to believe that they needed to go Alliance, get the human racial in order to be competitive. When you start to see these ranked players turn ally and go human, then guess what happens? It's a perception versus reality thing. All the tryhards and wannabes see guys with the big rankings go ally. So all the tryhards and wannabes do the same. And then the new players who don't know who to follow the tryhards and wannabes because they see those guys as ambitious. So now you get this massive flock to the Alliance and you create this imbalance. But the problem is, clearly, every man for himself. Is it the best trinket or racial in the game? Absolutely. I do believe it is. But the other ones are pretty good in situations. And that is also a problem. And the better they make the trinkets, the more valuable every man for himself. Now, Blizzard recently took that get out of bad shit trinket on the PvP side and buffed the stats by 50%. And now they're popping in this mercenary mode. So that combination might be a good 1-2 punch to fix things. But is it really going to be a long-term fix? Because the issue here is clearly every man for himself. I'm not making these facts up. According to worldofwarcraft.com, which is a website that compiles stats of the database of World of Warcraft, show it on the board, people. Best PvP player, races, and faction. Number 1, human, 43%. Number 2, night elf, 15%. By the way, look at how many people play Panda. Less than 1%. There's a reason for that. This is astounding. This is like a horse with a full mile lead on the rest of the pack.